Okay guys, Humans for Targets here. I just wanted to go ahead and do a video on the complete detail strip of a Glock and show everyone how that's done. And I don't know how many parts this video will take. I can only do 10 minutes at a time, so we'll go ahead and get started. First of all, remove your magazine from the gun, as I have done. Check the chamber, make sure there's no rounds in the chamber. Point in a safe direction. Pull the trigger. See these two little levers up here? There's one on each side, one there, and one there. You're going to pull the slide back about 1/8 of an inch and pull down on those levers at the same time. Then the slide right off the frame like that. Take out your captured recoil spring. Take out the barrel. And that is just a general basic field strip right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and start with the slide and detail strip that, show everyone how that's done. Okay. This tab right here that sticks out of the gun is the back of the striker. This is a part of the striker. It's the rearmost part of the striker. So what you do is you push up on this, back of the striker, and if you can see in there, there's a spacer sleeve on the striker. You have to go in there with the, I'm using the Glock tool, either with the Glock tool or a punch, and press down on that sleeve. Put your thumb over top and push off the slide plate cover like that. Now you have your slide plate cover, and just put your thumb over top and push like that, because these two parts under spring pressure, but they won't fly out of there, but it's just still safest to do that. At that point, you can take your thumb, just press up on the striker tab there with the spacer sleeve, and you can lift that right out. And here's your striker. In a little bit here, I'll show you how to take that apart also. Okay, now we got another part to take out up here. And I will tell you what these parts are after I pull them out. Okay. This is your extractor, depressor, plunger. This is your extractor, depressor, plunger, spring, and your spring-loaded bearing. I'll go ahead and take these apart for you right now so you can see. There's the spring-loaded bearing. Oh, that's one there. That's really on there. Okay, there it is. There's your extractor, depressor, plunger spring. There's your extractor, depressor, plunger. Okay, next we're going to remove the extractor, which is right here. So to remove the extractor, turn the slide over like this. You need to press in on the striker safety. This is a striker safety block. It blocks it from coming forward. There's a spring in this. It's spring loaded. Just press in and pretty much move the gun around, a little bit of a wiggle, and it'll drop out for you. This is kind of hard to do when I'm behind the camera like this, holding it in front. Here's your extractor. It just dropped right out. You just press in on this, wiggle the extractor around, and it comes right out. Now I'm going to take this out, show you the spring and everything that's on this. Okay, there is your striker block or striker safety. and its spring. And the spring also comes out of it if you ever need to replace or repair. Okay, now the slide is completely field stripped. Or detail stripped, I'm sorry. See, down through there? Let me get this and show you. This right here is where that extractor depressor plunger was that runs all the way up here to your extractor. As you can see here, this is your striker channel, where your striker would hit the primer and ignite the primer. See the small hole down there? Remember that there's the striker. This right here is what ignites the primer. Okay? Now I'm going to show you how to take the striker apart. These right here are called spring cups. This is going to be very hard for you guys to see. I can barely see it through the viewfinder of the camera myself. These spring cups are split, like right here and right here, and then they are put on like this, and then the spring goes up over a lip right here. So all you need to do, pull this spring back and pull the cups forward. Hang on a second here. See that cup right there? How it's half? That's the way it's supposed to be. I'm going to pull up the second cup here, and it just fell right off. And here's your spring. Striker spring. Striker. And the sleeve. Spacer sleeve is what this is called. Okay, so that is a completely detail strip slide. Once again, here's that spring cup. They do have spring cups that are called marine spring cups, and these guns will fire underwater, but the marine cups are better for firing underwater. I just really don't need them right now. Okay, well, since I'm running short on time, I'm going to go ahead and cut here and make a part 2 and start on the frame. Okay guys, part 2 here of the Glock Complete Detail Strip, and I'm going to go ahead and start with the frame here. Okay, you have 3 pins that are in this frame. This is your locking block pin right here, your slide stop pin. Your slide stop's right there. There's an arm in there that comes down here, which I'll show when I take this apart. And you have your trigger group pin right there. So what you want to do is start out with the top pin. Always remember is first out, first in, and there's a reason for that, and I'll tell you why in a moment here. So you just want to take your punch, push that pin right on through. Here's what that pin looks like after it comes out. Okay, next you want to push out your slide stop pin. Here's your slide stop pin. Now you can remove your slide stop. See how long the slide stop is, and Here's where your pin goes through. Well, the reason that the top pin in this frame has to go in first, the one that's above this hole, is because this little spring right here has to ride underneath of that pin like this. So this pin here, your top pin, has to be in there because this little piece right here pushes down when it goes in and rides underneath of it, pushes down a little bit like that when you install this in the gun. And it would be sitting in the gun like this, and that little piece would be under that top pin. Okay, next you can remove your trigger group pin, which is right there. Right there. Okay. There's your trigger group pin. It's a plastic pin. The other two are metal. Now what you want to do, this is going to be a little bit hard for me to do on camera because I'm not looking at the gun as I do this, keep in mind. I'm looking through the viewfinder of my camera with the camera in front of me, and I'm doing it like I'm watching a video. But I'm going to do my best here to do it like this for everyone. Okay, here's your locking block right here. This is what the top pin that went through here goes through, is this locking block. Just put your punch in there and pull upward like that. See it coming out of the frame? It comes right out. Now you can see where that pin went through. That's the hole where that top pin went through. Okay. Now we're ready to remove the trigger group. And that's pretty easily done. It's easier than it looks. Okay, what you do is, this right here is called your ejector. And that's your ejector. It's a non-moving part. The casing comes back and hits it and gets pushed out of the slide. What the extractor holds the casing, brings the casing back. The rim of the casing hits on the tip of this, and then it gets pushed out through the slide. Okay, so grab that with your finger and grab back here and just kind of wiggle it around a little bit. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of wiggling to get this out, and as you can see, out comes your whole trigger group. Let me move this out of the way. Okay. Here, of course, is your trigger, the safety lever, the initial safety. This is the trigger bar. Okay, this back here is the connector, which you can see my connector is cut down. It's a 3.5 pound connector. Okay, now we're going to move the trigger bar. Okay, there's a spring right here, down in there. You want to lift and tilt this out, back, and up out of here. It just takes a little bit of work to get this out. It's easier than it looks, but it's just the way they're designed. Here's your trigger spring right here, and here's your trigger bar. And to get this trigger bar off, see that little hook on that spring? See if I can get this here in front of the camera. There's how you unconnect the trigger bar. Always tilt it to the skinniest side. See that hole? See that hole right here? That's what connects in that little loop on that spring. Always tilt it to the skinniest side like that, and it'll come right out. When you're installing these springs, always remember, always install them like an S. The top hook coming forward, this bottom hook comes up toward my thumb, and the opened end is at my thumb. Always install this like an S. Okay? Here is the connector, my 3.5 pound connector. Now what I'm going to do to start this is, see back here, there's an open spot. That connector's in there. I'm going to come back here and I'm just going to give it a little push. Oh, sorry, I pushed a little too hard, I guess. And it came right out. See where right here is where the connector was riding, and right here, this part of the bar on the connector was what goes back in this slot, and then it lays in here like that. Let me show you again. Here it is, 3.5 pound connector. Yours is going to look a little different than mine if you have stock, but it's going to look exactly the same on top. It's just going to be wider. There's not going to be a cut in right here. It's just, the only reason it's cut is because there's less material, and the other metal piece that rides on this slips off a little easier. There's a little less friction, lightens the trigger pull a little bit, makes it feel a little bit better. So there's your connector, 3.5 pound. And at this time, if you wanted to change your connector out, that would be the time to do that. Ejector, and the rearmost part of your trigger group, which is also polymer. Okay, here's the frame. Everything emptied out. No trigger. And that is how you detail strip a Glock pistol. It will work for any of the Glock pistols, from the G20 to the G36. If you can do one, you'll be able to do the others. Alright everyone, humans for targets. I'm out.